a special program on the occasion of 75th Independence Day of India. For the special day, we have a special guest, Mohammed Jubeir ji, an assistant professor in the Department of Education at Jamia Millia Islamia from New Delhi. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining to make this day a special, because it's going to be special with your presence, because already the day is so special as India is proudly celebrating its 75th Independence Day. So on this special day, we are going to talk about the milestones achieved by India. But before that, we request you for your self-introduction, because we want to hear from you about you, please.
Thank you. Thanks to Dr. Raja Rao Pagidipalli ji, sir. Actually, first of all, good evening, namaste, assalamu alaikum to everyone around the globe, and thanks to Dr. Raja Rao ji, because in this special program he invited me, because we all are celebrating Independence Day, and as we enter the 75th year of India's independence, we can all be proud of progress we made as a nation. And myself, Mohd Zuber, Assistant Professor of Special Education, Learning Disability in the Department of Education, New Delhi, India, in the Jamia Millia Islamia. And I'm a global keynote speaker, educationist, motivational speaker as well. So I have experience in identification of students with special needs, assessment and evolving appropriate remedial measures. And I am professional who is very flexible and accommodating in design and implementation of hands-on training to children with special needs, because special education is very important for CWSN. So I use firm behavioral management techniques, process and possessing excellent interpersonal communication skills to develop an excellent rapport with all members of the school community. My areas of proficiency includes learning disabilities, autism, multidisciplinary education plans, technology, integration, team teaching, inclusive education, individualized education plan. So I have, presented many articles and papers in national and international conferences, and I have published books and chapters in the field of education. So I have been, participated in more than 300 international conferences as a keynote speaker. Also attended, more than 500 seminars, workshops. So, I'm a member of many international organizations and publications. I'm editor in many international journals as well. So thank you once again, Raja Rao sir, for inviting me at this platform for celebration.
It's a nice introduction, brother. Thank you, because it is required. Because we want to know that you are a special person from you.
It's my pleasure. So
then our question is: it is the saga of India, 75 years journey, so many milestones, so many achievements. Yeah, so, what, according to Mohammed Jubeir ji, what are the milestones set by India during this 75 years journey?
When we talk about the what we have achieved in the last 75 years, as we all know, we have entered the 75th year of independence, and we can all be proud of the progress of the country, because rising from the ashes of centuries old colonial exploitation and destruction, today India is not only one of the largest economies in the world, but also a very powerful country on the rise. And thanks to our strong spirit of innovation, eye of innovations, and the inculcation of scientific temper, today we are empowering millions of Indians by transforming their lives through their application of cutting edge technologies, as we have seen from Aadhaar to Mangalyaan. Technology moves fast and evolves exponentially. India's journey as an independent nation has been a spectacle of celebrations and accomplishments. In the past 75 years, our country has made significant progress in the realm of science and technology, and the last 7 years of digital India has established several transformational, digital platforms, and has laid the solid foundation of for future. So from space technology, nuclear energy, telecommunication, and today with artificial intelligence, we have leveraged the great powers of technology to address the challenges and empower millions of our citizens. Artificial intelligence has been identified as one of the most potent weapons in our fight against challenges like against COVID-19, especially as we use and employ artificial intelligence and machine learning for more use cases. So with the fourth industrial revolution on the horizon, India is prepared to leverage the opportunities. So this comes through the right adaptation of AI technologies and by preparing our future generations. So it is a matter of high prestige to all of us that our government has been, at the forefront when it comes to AI adoption. So the utility of, the technology or the tele education or the tele health or the tele law has become amazing. As our honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji said that the march of the technology cannot be at the expense of further increasing the difference between societies over access to technology. Rather, the evolution of technology has to be rooted in the ethic of sabka saath, sabka vikas, and with this vision, we have successfully launched numerous initiatives to improves transparency and service delivery and to propel us towards the goal of becoming a global hub for us. So we live in the in the era of technology. So we have achieved a lot of things. Brother, when we talk about when we talk about the technology, that lots of movements, lots of satellites. India designed first space satellite in 1975, and India hosts World Cups and many events, Commonwealth Games, and we are we are performing well in the sports as well nowadays. Lots of the railways, the the bus services, we have won many wars, and the educational acts. Parliament passed many acts in 2019. RTE Act have been passed in 2016. Right of Person with Disabilities Act, RPWD Act for special children have been passed by the government. So for India wins World Cups and Mission Shakti. We have started. We have in Chandrayaan second in India's quest to land its first spacecraft on the moon. Chandrayaan 2 was successfully launched by us from the Satish Dhawan Space Center. So lots of things we have achieved from the last 75 years. White Revolution, the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution in India in 1960s saw an increase in food grain production with development of high yielding varieties of wheat and pulses. And we have won many wars against, like we have won against Pakistan, against the China, and we have developed our we have done great job in our in our other resources as well. For example, in the defense, we have in the reactor, and we have we are a atomic country nowadays. So lots of efforts behind this, because we have launched many we have launched many satellites, and also many services which is providing by the Indian government to us, and many laws have been passed by the government. So lots of things we have achieved from the last 75 years. So it is amazing and proud moment for all of us, because we are living in this beautiful country where all are living in a generous way and in a democratic environment. So opportunities and equality is there to each and everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. That's the events that you described in fantastic and fabulous manner. That's so great. But at the same time, we have to see the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Because we have so many achievements, milestones. At the same time, there are so millions of people who are under the oppression of poverty.
Yeah.
Okay, hunger, malnutrition. There are so many problems. There are so many areas India has to improve, because still we are saying that India is a developing country, but it is the hope of every Indian to proudly say that India is a developed nation. We are expecting that day sooner. So what are the areas that we are lagging behind? So how can we cope up with those challenges?
Brother, lots of challenges we have to face, because we are the second largest population of the world. And as far as our resources concerns, India is totally based on the agriculture, and the industrialization and the IT sector is working performing really well. But lots of challenges, like you mentioned, that the poverty or the lack of education or the air pollution, and we are lazy to protect government property, and we criticize corruption, but when we get chance to accept or give bribe to done our works as well. So, we have to aware the society, we have to sensitize the society. Government should include these things in the curriculum, where students learn from these things at the early level and at the primary level. As an educator, I observe that when you include these things at the initial level, at the primary level or the secondary level, they will learn a lot. And we have to show them as a ideal. A teacher or every person in the society have to show himself ideal in front of our kids. So our education system is less job oriented nowadays. Sometimes we can say many subjects are there which are not giving jobs, but on the other hand many other subjects which are very job oriented. So we are emotional people and not understand the divide and rule policy of politicians. And sometimes we're not respecting traffic rules, for example. And the quality of grade and post grade are really poor compared to developed nations. For example, our college pass out have no real world skills, making them less hireable. We have to work on the skills, because skills based and vocational training must be started at the school level. Like a new education policy is saying that creativity and the vocational training and all of the things we have to include at the early stages of the education. So India needs to import a lot of, sometimes you observe that India needs to import a lot of defense equipments, for example, having a number of public sectors companies for that purpose, from the China, from the Russia. So India could not manufacture its own passenger aircraft, for example. Despite doing well in software export, it has to be depend on Thailand for the hardware. We are depend on the Thailand on the hardware. Am I audible, sir? So I was talking about that, despite doing well in software exports, in the IT sector, but we are depend on the hardware. For example, computer hardware, we are depend on the Thailand for some time, for example. So national highways, the government had started and have made many highways, but still, the major culprits are there, and we are lagging behind in states, in this district, in connectivity. For example, roads connectivity in the villages, in the remote areas, lack of infrastructure. You were saying that poverty and malnutrition is there. So lots of lots of plans has been started by the government, but they are not implemented at the practical level. So India has been struggling with deficient infrastructure in the form of lack of well equipped medical institutes, for example. Shortage of efficient and trained manpower. When we talk about like doctors, in ratio, when we talk about the ratio of doctor and the population, the nurses, the paramedical staff, the primary healthcare workers, the situation remains worrisome in rural areas where almost 60% of Indians population resides. So unmanageable patient load in the hospitals. And education and poverty. India must develop a well educated and skilled nation capable of meeting human resource demands of growth plan. But India still have to work on to eradicate the poverty. So we have to fulfill that gap by government. And not only the government can do everything. Every citizen has to take responsibility. Every citizen has to be aware about the things. Discipline, for example, if we are match with other countries, with Western countries, we have to be able to develop and maintain the same industrial discipline, same professionalism in the companies, in the jobs. So this involves developing the discipline and the capacity to run both large scale production and the small flexibility. So similarly, agriculture productivity, we have done very great job, fabulous job in the agriculture, but still, according to our population, we have to according to another countries, when we compare with the Western countries, India's output per hectare today is lower than with many developed countries. So we have to use technology in that. And the corruption, we have to remove the corruption as well. We as a person, as each and every person should take oath. And about the global environment as well, because the global environment is likely to experience many uncertainties over the next 15 years as economic power and influence. So we have to collaborate with industries and develop in partnership, but also with the fast growth nations. So India must focus on on educating the workforce with the skills that will enable them to adapt and survive in fast changing world. India must place a massive emphasis on long term strategies, because the environment play vital role in our life. So every year in Delhi, I live here in Delhi, every year we face pollution problem. So pollution is increasing day by day. So it's the duty of each and every citizen. So by controlling rapidly increasing population, we have to work on that by increasing literacy rate, by eliminating pollution, and by adopting zero tolerance against corruption, zero tolerance policy, and by bringing back the black money from abroad. And by we have to uh, give some responsibility or accountability, by political accountability, by judicial accountability, by adopting proper income tax policy, and by becoming self-sufficient in the defense. So by rapid industrialization, for example, a country can become a developed country by establishing new industries and factories, as these industries are a major contributor to the national income of a country. So we have to try to participate in the industries as a contributor. So by space exploration, because for example, we have done Rakesh Sharma and the unmanned mission Chandrayaan-1 on moon, but these efforts are not enough. So India needs to send several manned missions to moon and other celestial bodies to show the entire world that India is a fast emerging superpower, better than USA or the China or the Russia. So by strengthening its nuclear capabilities, although India has become nuclear power, as we know, and we are very a great country, and we have a great army, air force, everything, but we have to enhance the skills in the nuclear capabilities as well, because other countries are also doing the same thing. So by international trade, we can increase the international trade, and not only improves the relation of country with the foreign countries, but it is also a good source of national income. So India can become a developed country by increasing its international trade with other countries as well, by checking human rights violations, by controlling inflation. Price rise or inflation is the biggest factor which badly affects the economy of a country, as it diminishes the value of Indian rupee in the international market and puts the essential commodities out of reach of a common man. And by utilizing proper natural resources, we can encourage people to use renewable sources of energy, by having high-tech army, navy, and air force work on that. Increasing forest, we can increase the forest areas. We can promote harmony and universal brotherhood in the society. We can eradicate gender bias, because man and woman both are the complement of one another. So we have to eradicate the gender bias in the society. Proper implementation of government plans and schemes, because government is doing great work. They have initiated many schemes, but we have to implement those plans and schemes in the practical manner in the society, by which each and every person can get benefit from those schemes. So we have to improve the education system. For example, marginalized societies, their tribes or tribes and the orphans or children with special needs are there. So we have to accept them. We have to give them the equal opportunities. We have to make them independent. Each citizen is important for a country development. So to remove the poverty or to malnutrition or to increase the education. So we, as a person, as a human being, as a citizen, we have to work together, and we have to sensitize the society. We can include these things in the curriculum. We can organize these things in the school education system, where they can learn better from their childhood. So these are the things we can do as in the proper, and zero tolerance policy against the corruption or the all those culprits who are not doing well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Because you covered almost all the issues. That's really amazing. I've been thinking and have been traveling with your events and that saga. That's really outstanding, brother. Thank you for giving such a on the issues. We can strengthen ourselves when we know the SWOT analysis. Really, you have given that. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Really,
Yes.
the last question: what is the message? What is the message to youth by Mohammed Jubeir? And what is the contribution of Mohammed Jubeir to the great nation?
Brother, the role of youth, in nation building or development is very important, as we know. So this is because the development of any nation lies, in the future generations. So democracy, economy, technology, and the improvement of medical science all lie in the hands of the youth. You know, so poverty, unemployment, global warming, and pollution of many types are the problems that the world is facing today, like our country is facing. So history is evident that the next generation has been the answer to solve future problems. So as time passes by, it's requires to adapt the changes and bring a change in the society. The youth is capable of doing so. We can bring a change in the society. So what is the role of youth for a better tomorrow? What are the qualities that are required to bring a change in society? So these two questions are very important, and all the citizens should know the answer to them, because once Vivekananda faith is in the younger generation, the modern generation, and out of them will come to my workers. So this quotation impact the youth can have on society. So youth is the most dynamic and important segment of the population in any country. Statistics and researches show that the developing countries which have a huge youth population like India has could be seeing tremendous growth in all sectors of the countries, provided they invest in young people's education, health, and protect and guarantee their rights. So it is believed that today's young minds and tomorrow's leaders, creators, builders, and innovators. So the role of the youth is very important in building of a nation. They can be a positive influence in the society, and can also solve the problems by introducing innovative and impact ideas. And we need to encourage young people like yourselves to meaningfully participate in the decision making process around everything. So what can they do? They do many things. For example, they discourage corruption. They can discourage corruption. For example, they can be a good taxpayer. They can exercise a vote as a good citizen. So to be a good citizen of India by doing the right thing always as per law. So to achieve a highest potential and contribute optimally to national development, set an example as a role model. If each and every person will be think like that, to practice simple living and high thinking rather than the reverse, cherish always the inclusive spirit of Vasudev Kutumbakam. So as long as I do my best in pursuit the above, I will inspire others and convert the power of one into collective spirit and ultimately national glory. So education is the important thing. They have to contribute in the education, in the health, in the medical staff, in the science, in the technology. So many to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Like we are performing well in the sports nowadays from the last 5 or 10 years in the when we see in the World Cups, in the Commonwealth Games, in the Olympics. So we have to motivate our youth. We have to encourage them. We have to motivate. We have to increase their self-esteem, and to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India, to defend the country, and to promote harmony and the spirit among them, brotherhood among them, and students are the future of a nation, play very vital role in national building. One should be sincere about his duties. So we have to aware them about the duties, not only for self but also in the prospects of the nation. As we all know that our life is very short and we have a lot to do for our society, our nation, and for the whole world. So mainly two duties are there which we have to play sincerely. One is to do the maximum efforts in the shortest possible duration without taking stress. Secondly is whatever we may be in the society, we have to do our work with sincere efforts, because every child is different in their abilities and capabilities. Every child is unique. So I can sing well, I can play well, but I will not be a doctor. So every individual is different. So according to their capabilities, we have to use their talent and abilities. So as an educator or as a human being, we have to utilize all the power and caliber or the potential of our youngsters. So this is, possible only when the discipline is inculcated by making the students aware of their duties and responsibilities at the school level. For making young generations an integral part of nation building, the seeds of discipline must be sown in their minds through. Okay. So, in my opinion, so as we know that the future of the country of a nation fully depends upon its youth. So there is a great need of healthy minds. So this is possible only when the discipline is inculcated, and we have to give them, duties, and they have to, they have to be responsible in the society, and they have to work in all areas, not only in the science technology, but also in the sports, cultural activities, and in the armies, in the air force, everywhere they have to perform well as a unit. As a unit, we have to work a lot. So I am as a teacher, I always try to, rehabilitation. Always try to work for the rehabilitation of society. I always try to, aware the society, sensitize the society, and aware our students, because students, are the future of our country. So one is to do the maximum efforts in the shortest possible duration. So this is my message to each and every, person, that we have to work together in inclusive manner. We are talking about inclusive nowadays. Inclusive manner, each and every person, man, woman, orphan, tribes, every, person of the society is important, and they can play a vital role in the development of the country. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Really, your insights and all your ideas are wonderful in construction of our great nation. Thank you so much for joining on this special day and this making this program very, very special. Happy